the disengagement is I think, a part of making Israel more secure and peaceful. And I agree with the Prime Minister. And so it's important because the United States is a strong ally of Israel. And therefore, if you're a strong ally, you want there to be peace for your ally.
You know, the main concern of the Israelis is that the disengagement might lead not to more security, but on the contrary, to more violence.
Yes.
Could you understand the concern?
Oh, absolutely. I mean, I understand. And I can understand why people think of this decision as one that'll create a vacuum into which terrorism will flow. I happen to disagree. I think this will create an opportunity for a democracy to emerge, and democracies are peaceful. And therefore, it's very important for the United States as an active participant in this process to encourage the formation of security forces that will defeat terror, just like the roadmap calls for. These are Palestinian security forces. And to encourage the Palestinians to develop a peaceful state. I believe the decision that Prime Minister Sharon has made and is going to follow through on will be good for Israel.
And why are you so sure it's going to lead to more security?
Well, it's an opportunity. First of all, the previous system wasn't working. I mean, there was an intifada, there was death, there was killing. And if you notice, there's been a calm in attacks. One attack is too many, but there's been fewer attacks. Mm-hmm. And I think in the long run, the two states living side by side in peace is the ultimate solution for Israel's security. In the meantime, we've got to work to dismantle terrorist organizations, and that's precisely what the roadmap calls for.
But would you accept a permanent ceasefire with the Hamas movement, for instance?
Well, Hamas is on the terrorist group.
He made a ceasefire with them.
Well, he's elected by the Palestinians. I'm not. On the other hand, I can express my opinions to him, which I have. And I don't believe you can have a peaceful democratic state with armed groups willing to take the law in their own hands.
As a believer, Mr. President, what did you say to Jewish believers who think that God sent them to settle in the biblical Israel, and they will not obey any decision of elected government?
Well, there are admonitions in the Bible that does talk about, the role of government relative to man, and Israel is a democracy, and democracies are able to express the will of the people. And, the Prime Minister is expressing what he thinks is in the best interest of Israel, and the people will decide ultimately whether or not that decision makes sense.